Okay guys, to route these slots on the uprights of the chair, I'm going to try and use some of this jig. This jig is for doing the saddle slots on fixed bridges on acoustic guitar. And so essentially the way it works is you have the sound hole here, and so you clamp this bass plate to the top of the guitar. This is the lower bout around here, and you clamp it at the end as well. The fixed bridge sits in this aperture here, and then the router guide, you can adjust it to get exactly the right angle for the saddle slot. And then once you fix it, you move this reference plate up and lock everything. And then you have a router with a little attachment that goes up and down, and these guys here set the end stops so you have exactly the right length of travel, so on. Then to increase the width of the slot, you simply loosen either these two bolts or these two bolts, depending on which direction you want to go. Move the reference plate away, stick a feeler gauge between, lock it back down, etc., etc. So this isn't going to work as is for the chair, unfortunately, because this is quite a thick base plate. It's like 1/2 inch here. And in the guitar, the bridge sits up inside this aperture. And of course with the chair, that's not going to be the case. So what I'm going to try to do is just take this piece of it, put the rest to one side, and use this as the locator for the router, and hopefully I'll be able to clamp it far enough away that it won't interfere with the router mechanism. The way the router works, so this is the Dremel with this attachment fitted to it. It has a Perspex guide which runs in the slot here, and then that's the end stops front and back. The challenge with this approach, we'll see how it goes. The challenge is going to be depth of the slot, because the depth of a saddle slot on the bridge of a guitar is not as deep, anywhere near as deep as these have to be. And this particular attachment is not like a standard plunge router, so you have quite a limited travel, because it's primarily meant for doing things like mother of pearl inlay and stuff. So anyway, we'll see how we get on. So the idea is I fit this in here like this. I manually line it up with the markings for the mortise. Then I'll put a bit of double-sided tape under each side, clamp it down, and then we see how we go. In terms of cutter, I tried to use this standard router bit that is fitted to it, and it doesn't do a whole lot with this wood. So I got some down cutters. You probably can't see this, I don't know if the camera will focus. And so this is my last best hope, that this will be both sharp enough to cut through the beech, and also be able to give me enough depth that I can get the required slot. So let's see how that goes. Okay guys, I think this process is going to work. So that's given me okay, it's 3 mil wide, but I can get the depth, and the guide works really well. And I got the depth really by starting out with the cutter bit stuffed right back up in the chuck, and then gradually extending it out until I felt it would be too dangerous to extend it any further, and then I used the adjustments on the guide here to get me the last couple of mil. Okay, so I think we have a process to be getting on with. So I think what I'll do is I'll route the second slot in here, and then we'll get the chisels out to see if we can adjust the back surface and square them up and so on. And if that works, we'll transfer everything to the other upright. Okay, there we go. So 2 slots routed out to 3 mil. So now we'll get the old chisels out and see if we can fit them so that they take these cross pieces correctly. Okay, I think 1 down, 4 to go, or 3 to go, as they say. I'm not going to claim any marks for workmanship here, but yeah. Provided the tools are extremely sharp, it's sort of doable. But you just have to take it slowly. And of course, none of these tenons are going to be exactly the same. And so you sort of have to fit each mortise to each tenon. I guess that's the way they did it back in the day. Okay, well, I'm pleased we got a process sorted out that seems to work. So we just have to do this 3 more times. Okay, 2 down and 2 to go. I'm leaving them fairly tight at the moment, so they really are quite tight, because I'm sure when I put the whole thing together, I'll need to do some more fitting of these so that it lines up with each of its opposite side. But so far so good. I'm just going to go and route the other ones now. Okay, side 2. Okay, so I've started on the painstaking stuff of manually fitting each of these mortises to the tenons. This bottom one is almost done, still a little way to go. However, something unexpected has just showed up. The back joints here fit nice and squarely. The front joint here fits nice and squarely. But alas, this joint here is not lined up properly at all. You can see here there's a huge gap at the top versus at the bottom here. What I discovered is this front leg here is glued to that horizontal piece completely out of square. So it's sort of, the joint is glued on like that. And if I lay this side piece on a flat surface, everything is completely flat. Both legs stay on the flat surface. If I do the same with this one, back leg is on the surface, top and bottom, and at the bottom here it's sticking up in the air. So it's, as I say, it's glued in like that. So I guess better I find it now than later, but the implication is I gotta undo this mortise and tenon here, because it's either this joint or the back one, and I'm pretty sure it's this one. And I gotta get that squared up before we carry on. So this one is giving me fun all the way. Okay, learning as we go here. So at this stage I'm pretty comfortable with the bottom cross piece is now fitted, and the top piece stays aligned pretty nicely. We're nice and tightly fitted on this back piece, but this is definitely not fitted properly, and so you get the space here. I'm going to leave it for now until I get, and I think what was happening is if I take this piece out, then I can clamp here at the front and it'll effectively twist this piece here. That causes that to go up barely noticeably, but it means you can close that gap. However, once you refit these guys so that you prevent this thing from accepting the twist here, then you can't close this joint. So, okay, I think I'll just fit the remaining one of these so that I'm happy with the whole back, and then we'll leave this little nasty guy here right till the end. See where we go. Okay, I think I have both of those cross pieces reasonably well fitted at this point. So these guys are fitted well, these guys are seated properly. I think I mentioned before I did a lot of cutting here to get that to fit. But when I put these guys in and I get them lined up as best I can, I now have a little bit of an airspace back here, so I think I may just stick some veneer on the end here and then send it back down to the right dimensions. Have a look at that next time round, and of course that just leaves me with this horrible thing to fix, and that's going to take, it's not as bad as it was, but yeah, can't leave it like that, because if I compress it with a clamp to glue it, then the whole thing is constantly under tension, and that's no good, because I think the fact that this thing was sort of forced back together the last time it was repaired is part of the reason why this thing eventually exploded. Okay, so I think that's it for this. More to come next time around.